The next thing we're going to take a look at here is profiles. So we want, whenever you click on an avatar or the person's name or username, that it takes you to their profile. And so if we go to Twitter, just click on Jamie's profile here. We've got a header image, we've got your avatar, we've got buttons for follow, unfollow, various things like that. And then we've obviously got your name and username and your bio, which is important. And then things like a web link that you can put in, and followers and following, and then basically lists out all of your tweets. So we're going to take a look at doing this, and we'll go and get started by creating a profiles controller. So we'll say bin Rails generate controller profiles, and we want a show action here for seeing the profiles. We probably also then want an edit action to edit your own profile, and so we'll generate that. So if we go to our profiles controller, what we're going to want to do here is load up a profile, and we'll just say user.find by username, and we'll say params username, and we can use an exclamation mark here so that if it fails, it will 404. So we'll save this, then we'll go to our routes, and we'll basically create a route here where we have get username, and this will go to profiles show, and we'll say this as profile. So if we go and look at our routes then, bin Rails routes, and we will grep for profile, and you'll see we've got profile path, which will go to our / username. The next thing we also want to do then is have resources for profiles, but we only want to do that for edit and update, and we'll just rerun our routes again here. And we've got an issue defined with the same name, so I think we need to maybe take this out, and we'll see what it gets called. And it's now unnamed at the moment, so I think we'll maybe need to call it like maybe username. And so we can call it username path, or maybe show profile. Yeah, show profile should work. So if we then go to our tweet, and we're using the tweet component, so I'll have to go to that and look up our tweet component here. We can go in here and we'll say URL, and we can just build that up by saying show profile path with a username of tweet.user.username, and then we can save that. So then in our tweet component code, we can then link all this up, so we can actually go here where we're rendering our avatar, and we can say link to render the avatar, and then make it go to URL. And then we can also add in some classes here, so we can say flex shrink 0 on the link to make sure it doesn't get squished, and save that. And then if we come back here, you'll see we've got links here, so it goes to /Pete, and if we go down to another one here, we've got /reacher for this one. So that all seems to work nicely. We'll just link up the rest of our code here, so we can say our tweet name is also a link to and goes to our URL with a class of hover underline to kind of match what Twitter does. So it underlines here. It underlines the name, but it doesn't underline the username. So if we link up the username as well then. And we'll just say URL with no styling. So then we can reload this and we have everything here. So if I click on my profile then, as you can see, it's loading up the correct controller action, and then we can go in and style this up. So we'll go to our app views, profiles, show, and then inside of here we can basically render our avatar component. So we can go in and say render avatar component .new, and we can say user is profile, and then reload. So we've got our avatar, and we do want this to be a lot larger, so we probably need to add a size to our avatar component. So if you can see, we've got our size here of height 12, width 12. We probably want to make this a lot larger, so we can basically take a size in here. So we'll say size and height 12, width 12, and we will save that. And then basically if the size is passed, say size, and then go in here and we'll just put size out. And then from our show page, we could pass in size and say height 40, width 40, and then reload. And that's obviously probably way too big now, so we probably want maybe 30. Which doesn't exist, so there might be like a 32 actually is probably tailwind size. And that works, and it's probably still smaller than that, so it's maybe 28. Or 26. Oh, that doesn't exist. 24. Yeah, that's probably a better size to have it. So that's fine. Then we need our name and username. So we'll use that as an h1 tag actually, and we'll say at profile.user profile.name, and we'll say class is text gray 900 font semi-bold, and maybe like text XL. That looks pretty good. We'll just add a bit of margin here, so we'll say margin top of 4, and then we also want some padding on this profile, so we'll say class and we'll add padding of padding 4. And then we want to do our top banner image as well. So even though we don't have a top banner, we'll add in a div here, and we'll just say class is height. And let's just go down and try and get a pretty large size here. So let's say height 64, background gray, or background blue might be nicer, of 300, and we'll hit save. And then we just want to lift our avatar halfway up that. So even our padding here. So we want to just change this to padding X of 4. So it doesn't have padding at the top. And then we want to do a negative margin. So if this is 24, we want to do a negative margin. So we want to do minus margin top of 12, and then save that. And that pulls our avatar halfway up. And then the only other thing we probably want to do is add a ring around that. So we want to do like ring 2 and then ring white. And that just adds a little bit of a white border around it to make it stand out. And then finally we'll want to put our username in here below. So we'll just put a paragraph tag for that and say @profile.username. We'll put a little @ sign in front of it there, and then just do class text large, text gray 600, and reload. And I think even text base is fine for this. That's probably better. And then we want our bio to go in here. Bio is not something that we have right now, so we'll just skip that right now and put our tweets in below. So we can go back to our tweets index, and we've got our tweets form. And when you're on someone's profile, I think if it's your own profile, we'll show the tweets form. If it's not, we will hide that. So we'll just copy this, go to our profile page, paste these in, and we'll just say if @profile equals current.user, we'll render the tweets form. Otherwise, we're just going to show the tweets, and @tweets here we'll fill in as well. So we'll go to profiles controller and we'll say @tweets equals profile.tweets, and we'll say .ordered, and we'll go to our tweet.rb file, add a scope called ordered, and just put in here where order is created at, descending, save that, and then I think go to tweets controller as well and just change that across to ordered. So that will just share that logic and keep it in one place. So we'll reload here, and as you can see, I'm on my own profile. So I've got the tweet form, and we need to just unnest this. So these will just need to come down one level so that they're not padded left and right. That's better. So we've got the tweet form because we're on our own profile, and that should still work. So we'll just say still works, and that tweet still goes in there, which is good. But if we go back home and go down to someone else's profile, the tweets are there, but the form is gone. And we also need to just put a little padding bottom on this container. So we'll go in here and say padding bottom of 8. And that looks pretty good.